Turning Wi-Fi off.
I have been waiting forever for Barry to return. The first 2 seasons are some of my favorite seasons of television. I pitch to friends all the time to go and watch it. Short episodes, short seasons, easy to get hooked. Season 3 has been a long time in the making, and it was well worth every minute of waiting. Barry is the show when it comes to TV writing. What we have seen done to our characters is always so redeeming and never cheap. Let's talk mostly about the characters here because we know the technicals are perfect with this damn show. Do I have to remind you about Ronnie Lily? The slow camera pushes and pulls are precursors to some of the greatest moments in this show. Spoilers ahead. Jesus Christ, that chase scene. Sally, please chill. So obviously, let's start with Barry. I always had a feeling this would be the darkest season from what was set up previously. With Jean knowing Barry killed Janice, it really added this inevitable impending doom that really helped add tension. There are stakes, and they are added instantly into this season. When they drop us into the first moments of season 3, you can tell there was a tonal switch, and this is when we start realizing we have been bamboozled. And this is now a drama with comedic elements instead of a comedy with dramatic elements. Barry now is just a straight up dark, selfish murderer who ever so slightly cares about other people. Some could argue he's been like this throughout all the seasons. Early on, we see him absolutely scream at Sally, and he's so frightening, scary, and just straight up terrifying. There's this scream from Barry. Barry throughout this season takes no accountability and thinks he can just ignore all the consequences to his actions and find a way out to this life that he wants so badly. At the end of the day, I'm happy Barry has finally been apprehended by law enforcement, and the scene where it happens is masterful. We have SWAT coming from the outside, and I get chills when I hear the first cop yell,
"Freeze! Drop the fucking gun! Drop the gun!"
Look how happy Janice's dad is here. He could be out here all day. I wish I didn't know there was another season coming and it was kept under wraps, because I really think this show could have just ended here. I really don't know how they're making a season 4, but I trust the cast and crew to do what's best for the show. Let me take that segue to 2 characters I want to talk about, the new and the old. Janice's dad is genuinely terrifying. I know it's said as a joke that he made an interrogator kill himself, but that writing is so smart. The idea of being able to convince an interrogator to kill themselves is all the character development I need. He really shines in this season finale where he's screaming at Jean. This is Jean's season, man. He gets so much development that is so needed, and Winkler steals every moment he can. The shock he had on his face in season 2 after learning about Barry being the murderer of his girlfriend was just a glimpse of what he can do. He shows anger, fear for his life and family. He redeems his old wrongs with the new opportunity he is granted. He does the right thing. It's hard to say he is the heart of the show when you could say that about 4 different characters. But this season is a tie between Jean and Sally as the top side performers. Okay, Sally. She probably has 2 or 3 of the top 5 moments in this season. The freak out scene in the elevator goes on for so long, the speech goes on for so long, and the beating goes on for way too long, and it truly hurts. Every second it goes on, you are just more amazed and amazed that she can go for this long at 110%. I love the idea of her having a popular show and it being shelved due to an algorithm, and how they deal with TV in the modern age. The writing in this season with Sally is my favorite to all the characters. She even deals with apology culture, which reigns especially heavy in the current landscape, and it's done with great taste. NoHo Hank, a fan favorite for good reasons. He's always been the comedic soul of this show, and he gets easily the most terrifying scene of the show for me. He is locked up in a basement cell and hears haunting screams from the neighboring cell of an animal ripping him apart, and slowly sees the animal breaking into his cell. It's crazy to think we haven't really seen NoHo Hank go through any violent scenes like this throughout the show, given what he does for a living. But seeing him escape and somewhat save Kristolball from electroshock therapy, because I forgot to mention, NoHo Hank and Kristolball are a couple this season, and it's so cute. I say somewhat save because to me this was left ambiguous. He takes a huge shock and he looks so fried. Something that will most likely be settled in season 4, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's not there mentally anymore. Fuchs takes a bit of a backseat in this season, but his moments are still highlights. He's basically just away from it all and is so incredibly angered by Barry's actions and tries everything in the world to ruin this kid's life, which he inevitably kinda does. With the little time he carries this season, I like the way his character moves towards a total hatred of Barry and is willing to sacrifice some of this newfound luxury to make the kid pay. In his mind, he's just thinking, with With all the stuff I've done for this kid, how could he treat me this way? Away from character decisions and arcs, the comedy is still present in the darkest season of Barry yet. Yes, this season is brutally dark. I see no other route this show could have gone without foregoing realism. You always feel like the right decisions are made in this show, and that's because of the elite writer's room. Anytime I see an upcoming decision that needs to be made by a character in the show, I always think of what the worst decision for the character would be. What doesn't make sense for this character given the previous seasons? They are still perfect in that department for me. Look, the writing is going to be perfect when it comes to situational humor, with Alec Berg working on Seinfeld and Curb, and Bill Hader existing. With a looming season 4, I'm curious with the direction because, well, it seems like the arcs have happened. Resolution has occurred. What else is there to this show after this? Again, I trust the team behind the show, but if there is a season 5, there better be a damn good reason. I'll give season 3 of Barry about a 9 out of 10, which is basically tied with the previous 2 seasons. My favorite current show on television.